Welcome to another edition of the Live Well and Fully podcast. Through this podcast, we help women remember that they matter too. We spark new insights on changes they might desire for in their own lives so they can step forward confidently and turn their dreams into reality.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Live Well and Fully. I'm Barbara Decker, and I'm on the East Coast of the United States in Pennsylvania. I'm here today with Carlee Krichmar. Carlee, where are you hanging out today? Where do you live?
I am in San Diego.
Oh, tough life. Carlee is a licensed educational counselor who specializes in helping clients and their families use conscious communications along with gamification to heal together and sustain recovery. The title of our interview today is How to Rebuild Trust and Connection with Family After Treatment. So I'm going to put the timer on the screen and we will start with question 1. Here we go. Who do you serve, Carlee?
I serve families that are healing from the effects of substance abuse and addiction. And even more specific than that, I help families that recognize that there is dysfunction in their relationship and they want to correct it.
Good for you. And in almost every family I'm aware of, when addiction enters, dysfunction is magnified. It may have been there before, but now all of a sudden you see it.
Yep.
So that's what you're remedying.
Exactly.
Question 2, what is unique, special about your approach to diseases like addiction and mental illness?
So my program, it centers around play-based learning and application because I use a gamified communication technique that I embedded that helps families to practice consciously communicating with each other. So the main, if not only, method that we typically use in treating substance use disorder and addiction or family dysfunction is therapy, right? So we have individual therapy, family therapy. If you're in a program, we have group therapy. And of course, those are all very effective and necessary for individuals, but it's not the only way to help an individual to rewire their brain or create new habits or ways of thinking. And dysfunctional relationships, they've been shown to, as we were just talking about, be one of the most common factors that either lead to substance use or addiction disorder. And communication is the foundation of every relationship. So my program, it works to reconstruct the family system to create a healthy environment for individuals that are in treatment to return to. And then it also creates a support network within the family because every family member is in need of support and some correction. Because again, talking about the dysfunction that usually, if not almost always, exists in a family where there's one individual who has a substance use disorder.
Yeah, thank you very much. It for sure is a family disease. What one thing makes your approach effective, Carlee?
Gamified learning. So gamified learning is one of the
Excuse me, you're talking going to be mostly to people my age. So tell us what gamified learning is.
Yeah. So basically, it means that we are using a play-based approach or a game to create a learning. So it's a tool that helps to teach new skills, and it's using visual and auditory stimulation. So like when you're playing a game, right? If you're playing a board game, you're seeing things, you're hearing things physically, it's like tactile and touch. And so specifically in Explore to Heal, it's group-based. So family members are receiving constant social feedback, which is literally activating the reward system in the brain. So every time you're having these positive interactions with each other that I'm guiding you through, the reward system in your brain is being activated. And then that influences you to want to recreate that experience outside of the session using the skills that you're learning. And then because we are literally playing a game during the session, that again, you're being guided through, your brain is releasing dopamine, and that is stimulating the part of the brain called the hippocampus, which contributes to the acquisition of storage of new skills and information. So basically, because you are playing a game with each other, it's making it so much easier to learn and retain the skills so that it comes more natural to you when you're not in session and you're having conversations with each other, but you're still recreating that format of like this almost like turn taking and active listening and activating your empathy. I hope that all makes sense.
It does. Very good. Thank you. Real quick, what is the most common mistake a family member makes, in your view, when dealing with a loved one who has a substance use disorder or a mind disease of some kind?
Blaming themselves. And the reason I see this is because there is no one person that can cause another person to have a substance abuse or addiction disorder. Because like we were saying before, it's literally a family disease. And it is meaning that the entire family system can cause it. So for instance, if you had a mom who parentified a child, she obviously experienced her own adversity or trauma that would have caused her to do that. So if we take one individual, there's no just looking at one person who caused this, because there is always this family of origin. So we can keep going back further and further. So it's not just one person's fault as much as it might feel like it sometimes.
Yeah, it's truly generational. I think you're right. Okay. Question 6, what is one valuable free resource you'd like people to have?
So besides my newsletter, signing up for my articles of communication tips, I really like the JED Foundation. It has really great resources and this really neat tool where it asks you like how you're feeling or something that you're going through, and then you can just like click through whichever one relates to you in that moment. And it gives you so much information about how to process through that and tips, and really useful, really user-friendly. JED Foundation.
Okay, thank you. And finally, what should I have asked you, Carlee, that I didn't ask you, and what's the answer?
I would say what my relationship is to substance abuse and addiction. And the answer to that is my mom has suffered from addiction, and so has my sister. And that has very much impacted the person that I am. And it has led me to do the work that I'm doing, because as an adult, I realized how much I did not have support in my experience as a child, as an adolescent, and then transitioning into adulthood. And it has made me realize how important it is for every family member to receive support, and how important it is to be looking at the entire family system. And yeah, the experience with my mom and my sister has been everything for me, because I had put so much blame on them, and realized that it was not their fault. It was nobody's fault. And it's up to all of us to repair the relationship and help us all to be healthy human beings.
That's excellent. And I know we're out of time, but I have to ask, if you don't mind saying, how is your relationship with your mom and your sister now?
It's so much better. And it's interesting because I had so much resentment for my mom starting in adolescence, when I started to actually realize like how much I felt like she had affected me. And so I was just very angry at her. And then as I got older and started to actually learn more about psychology and get my master's in educational counseling, that was when I really started to realize that she had a disease, that her brain was not functioning like an average person, and that nothing she was doing affected me. And that was so empowering to me that it helped me to start to forgive her and have so much more compassion for her experience. And the same thing for my sister, really. And my relationship with both of them is so much better, and it helps me to literally like function better and regulate as a person, knowing that I have those connections in my life that I felt like I didn't have for years.
Thank you for opening up and sharing that. I intentionally don't ask that question because for lots of people it's very private. So I'm glad you volunteered it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I love sharing because I think it helps other people realize the possibilities.
And to everybody listening, that's a wrap. I'd like to thank you so much, Carlee, for spending this time with us today. Your answers were helpful and insightful, and I hope that some of the listeners will seek you out. We will provide your link below the podcast as it's published, so take a look at what Carlee has to offer. And also, please find yourself a pocket of joy today because you are so worth it. Bye for now. Talk soon.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to be notified when new episodes are released. Then visit www.livewellandfully.com/workshop to experience the Love Another Way framework firsthand.